What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Randy Moss. He is one of the best route runners in the history of the game, maybe the greatest receiver of all time. And today we're going to break down what makes him so special. Let's get started. So this first route, he's going to be selling like he's running a slant here for about 3 steps, and he's going to be breaking on this out. Let's watch this thing full speed, and then we're going to break this thing down. So he's coming off here, 1, 2, 3 to the slant, sudden stick, stay in that blind spot, then come out on this out. So when he comes off the line here, he gives a little bit of a foot fire. He takes about 4 steps right here. Now what that does is it gets this DB on his heels. He's closing the gap. It gets him almost on his back foot getting out of there. Okay, now that's what we need to do in any kind of situation where this DB might be bailing out of there, a little bit of a catch technique. So then he makes this 1-2 move, 1-2. And I want you to see how his feet are within his frame. His feet aren't going super wide. His feet stay within his frame, and he's pushing off the inside portion of his foot, and he's keeping those toes straight forward. That's where we need to be anytime we're making a cut like that. Anytime we're making a release, we need to keep our toes straight forward so we have a short pathway with our hips, because if our toe opens up, our hip has to come up and over, and we're going to be slow. So gets this DB to open up the gate by using head and shoulder movement. We want to keep our feet underneath us. And then we want to keep our head and shoulders to the outside. So gets him to open up that gate. Comes in 1, 2, 3, sudden stick. I want you to see how sudden and how explosive this move is on that third step in that slant. Now, right now, he's in that blind spot of the DB. He's forced to speed turn out of there. Now, he knows that all he has to do is make a break in that blind spot. He got his hips turned, force him to speed turn. He's not going to be able to react fast and come back around on this out again. So he does a good job of exploding out, getting this DB in this position with his back turned to him where he has to recover. He snaps that head back around, and then the ball's going to be coming out for a catch for a big play. Nice job working that 3-step. We're selling like he's going on 3-step slant here, double move off the line of scrimmage, 3 steps to the slant, head and shoulders. That's a great job. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So coming off, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, sudden stick, explode out of that break, then get up to this touchdown. Now this is going to be the exact same release, exact same deal. He's going to be selling like he's running a slant, but instead of cutting underneath the DB, he's going to be cutting over the top. So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. Coming off, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Inside, gets his DB to undercut it. Now, the main thing, the reason why this thing worked is because of his eyes. So he gave kind of the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about a 6-step release, but the same deal. He gave a double move. What he did was he had a little bit more cushion than the last DB, so he really had to focus on closing the gap with him, okay? Randy Moss is not the most creative guy off the line of scrimmage, but he's so good at what he does. That's why he's able to get so much separation. So he closes the gap, 1, 2. Again, now his feet are a little bit wider this time, which shows that he's not as explosive because he's a little tall, but he's a bigger guy, so it's expected. But a little bit of head and shoulders to this side gets the DB leaning just enough to get some separation. So he comes off, 1, 2, gets him jumping inside, gets his cleats out of the ground. Now he's able to work upfield. Now, he has a plan for his hands. Anytime we're making a move with our feet, we got to have a plan for our hands. So he has a plan to swat with this offhand, then chop with the left. Get his hands off of him, and now this is a bad position for this DB to be in. Even if he is running the slant, this is a bad position for him to be in. He's not going to be able to react quick enough because he doesn't have hands on him, and he's not trying to reroute him. So he comes off into this route, comes out, 2, 3, sudden stick. Again, he's peeking with his eyes. He's looking back to the quarterback. This is getting this DB to get greedy and undercut this thing. That's what we have to do. Our eyes and committing our shoulders are so important anytime we're working a double move, working this like slant-out concept. So he makes this sudden stick. Again, pushing off the inside arch of his foot, head and shoulder movement inside, gets this DB to bite underneath, and then he's able to slip right up over the top, and there's a big separation, especially in the red zone. This is exactly what we need as a receiver, and it's a blessing for the quarterback. He's able to catch this ball, get 4 feet down for a touchdown. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. It's a great job using that same slant out, but almost in a different scenario. DB's a little bit further off and taking this thing behind him. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So he's coming off, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, the inside, sudden stick, explode out, catch this ball, tap his feet, and then get in and out of bounds. It's a great job. Okay, so now we're going to be working this route. He does kind of a open field crossover, so let's watch this thing. It's going to be easier to watch slow motion, but let's watch it full speed right now. So 1, 2, gets his DB thinking inside, then he catches this ball. And this is with his time with the 49ers, so this is a one-on-one clip. So he comes up and he starts going this foot fire, okay? Now, foot fire, fast hands, fast feet, okay? So he's got rapid hands, rapid feet to get this DB sitting to make him think, okay, he's going to be making a break. Now, what does he do here? He makes this stick, this move with the left, and then he's going to move with the right, moving his head and shoulders with that right stick, getting this DB to open up, selling like he's just running this in route right now. He's running an out, excuse me. So 1, 2. Head and shoulders here, fast hands, fast feet. Get this DB thinking that he's going to make a break happen by having fast hands. And then he makes this stick, head and shoulder movement to the inside, gets this DB thinking he's just going to be running an out. And then he comes out up on this dig or this in route and catches this ball. That's a great job using fast hands, fast feet. Get him on his heels, get him thinking a break's coming, then using this open field crossover to get some separation. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So he's coming off the line, fast hands, 1-2. Get him thinking inside, freezes that DB, catch this ball for a big gain. Okay, now we're going to talk about why changing up your speed, especially on a deep route, is so important, guys. So this is going to be him running a fade here, or seam, I should say, and he's going to change up his speed to get this DB to almost lull him to sleep. So let's watch this thing full speed, and then we'll break it down. So coming off, slow play, kick up into second gear. Now, it helps that Randy Moss is just a freak athlete, and he's going to be able to get separation no matter what, just because of his, or he's going to be a mismatch because of his size, so no matter what, and his speed. But this is something all receivers can do. Any fast receiver who knows that they're up against a defender that's slower than them can use this technique. So he comes out, he kind of gives this skip here, a little bit of a skip. Now, what this does is it gets the DB to slow down. He's not just going to keep running and overcommit, especially when it's man like this. He's playing manned up on him. And then he kicks up into second gear. Now, the mistake the DB made right here is not getting hands on him. He's got to get hands on him. Anytime we're facing a bigger receiver, much more physical receiver, they got to get hands, okay? And so what he does is he kicks up into second gear, explodes out, pumps those arms, going stride for stride with a linebacker right here. This is easy money for Randy Moss. It's a great job lulling him to sleep. He's obviously not the strongest coverage linebacker, and then making this catch over the top, high pointing this thing, getting 2 in. That's a great job by Randy Moss, taking care of a mismatch, right? Anytime we see, so if we're a receiver, right, and we see a linebacker matched up on us, not pressing, right, he's kind of in this catch technique. It's man, though. That's a mismatch and a half, and we should exploit that. And there's a great way to exploit that by using kind of this slow, lull them to sleep, change up the speed, and then kick up into second gear. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So coming out, kick into second gear. Get some separation, get all we need to, make him playing catch up, catch this ball, toe tap for a great job. So he's going to be kind of coming off this. He's going to have like a little bit of a walk release right here. Now what's that going to do is going to get this DB on his heels. So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So walk, release, split, get him on those heels, have a plan for our hands, get those hands off, and now it's stride for stride. Let's use our speed. We're going to watch the catch in a second. But the main thing is he kind of walks him off. I want you to see what he's doing with this walk. DB is completely on these heels. He knows he's backpedaling out of there. So Randy Moss knows he's just got to give him a little bit of a move, get him to bite on it, and then get upfield, and that's exactly what he does. So he kind of lulls him to sleep, gives a little bit of a jab to the inside, gets him flat-footed by lulling him to sleep, and now what does he do? He has a plan for his hands. He's attacking that off arm, but where is he attacking this thing? He's not fighting those hands. He's attacking that wrist. That's a point of control. Your wrist, elbow, back of the shoulder, that's a point of control that receivers need to attack. So he comes off, attacks that wrist, gets his hands off of him. Now, this is a very bad position for that DB to be in. He's got no hands on one of the best receivers of all time, and now he's going to be kicked. He's going stride for stride with one of the fastest, most explosive receivers in the NFL, and that's a very bad position for him to be in, even with safety help over the top. That's a great throw. That's a great job going up there and getting that ball and then scoring for a touchdown. That's a big play by Randy Moss. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. He's coming off, gets him on his heels, jab to the inside, flat-footed, take advantage of the flat-footed, get his hands off, and then get as much separation. That's all the separation we need. DB didn't do a bad job of recovering, actually, but this little separation that he was able to get off the line of scrimmage was huge for him. Now I want you to see he's going to be running a deep post. I want you to see how he attacks this guy. He's inside leverage, right? He's trying to force him to the sideline. So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So coming off, he angles this stem like he's going to be running a fade here, stick in the ground, and kick up into second gear, catch this ball, toe tap, and get down. So let's watch this thing full speed, or let's break this thing down, I'm sorry. So main thing I want you to see here is off the line of scrimmage, he's always selling vertical. That's one of the things about being a fast receiver. That's why speed's so important for receivers, is because we're able to sell a vertical effectively. We're able to give him our eyes. We're able to walk, to look over his shoulder, to sell legs going deep. But what he also does is angles the stem of the route. So I want you to see here, he angles this stem, gives a little bit of a pressure step right here. Pressure step, angling this stem. His shoulders are going outside. Makes this DB start to shuffle back outside to try to take away this fade. His eyes are outside. Everything about this says he's going fade, right? But also what he's doing is giving himself room to work on this post. If he just goes post right now, DB's going to be able to come down, right? DB will be able to come down because he's inside leverage, 100%. So he angles this thing outside, sudden stick, head and shoulder movement to the outside, really gets him thinking fade, and then he's able to just kick up into second gear. He's going stride for stride with him. Now this is what we want. Stride for stride. We know where we're going. We like this position. position. Quarterback's going to give him a great ball over the top, keep him skinny, and he's able to toe tap and get down. That's a great job by Randy Moss using his stem to get some separation on this post, and we're going to watch another clip of him doing the exact same thing, but it's more of like a zone coverage, or this is zone coverage, but it's a little bit different of a look. So he's coming off here, angles that stem, 3 steps there, stick, stride for stride, explode out of the break, catch this ball, toe tap for a great job by Randy Moss. Okay, so now he's a little bit more squared up, right? So he's got to attack him here, and now if he really sells like he's going fade, this DB should turn his hips, and that's the goal. We want this DB to turn his hips. We want him to open up the gate to the sideline, even in a route, not just off the release. We want it even in the route to get this guy to open up his hips. So let's watch this thing full speed, then we'll break it down. So he's coming off, same pressure step here. DB's forced to speed turn, and when you're speed turning on one of the best receivers of all time, it's probably not going to work out too well for you, okay? He could have recovered a little bit better, this DB, but it's a great job by Randy Moss using this pressure step right here, taking this thing to the post. So pressure step with the left, pressure step, angling the stem outside. Eyes over this shoulder, head and shoulders committed. DB's open up this gate. He's trying to run stride for stride with him, play him towards the sideline, almost like a man coverage look right here. So almost like an off man look, but it's most likely zone coverage. It's 100% zone coverage. So he comes off here, stick, right? DB's completely committed. Now what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to speed turn out of there. But while he's speed turning, Randy Moss is pushing off the inside arch of this foot. And this comes from reps upon reps upon reps of him working drills, of him working routes, him running routes. And this is how you get explosiveness off of a route. You push off of that inside arch and you're pumping those arms and you don't lose speed. He never loses speed. When he makes a break, he doesn't slow down. He just makes a break and he keeps the same speed throughout the route. And so he's pushing off that foot, pumping those arms, kicking up into second gear. Quarterback makes a good throw over the top for a touchdown. That's a great job by Randy Moss using this stem, using that pressure step to get some separation on this post. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So he's coming off here. Stem, 1, 2, 3, sudden stick, has his hips turned over the top, catch this ball, toe tap. That's a great job by Randy Moss. So what I want to talk about right here is this is not a route from Randy Moss. This is a release you can use on a route because I get the question asked a lot, how do I beat a physical DB? These DBs just lunge at me, right? For him to be in right here because his feet are kind of bailing out of there. And if he's going to press, he should be in a better base with his feet together, strong base. Now, what he's going to do here is he's going to lunge at Randy Moss. Now, he is not in a balanced position. So what do we have to do? We're in an explosive pad level position right here. We got our hands ready to go. So all we got to do is just be physical. We got to shoot our hips, right? Shooting his hips, driving at this DB, knocking him off this platform. That's a great job by Randy Moss, driving, putting him on his back. That's what we got to do. When a DB lunges at us like this, he's coming outside of his frame. He's got no base. Let's just drive. Let's just shoot these hips and let's knock him on his ass. That's a great job by Randy Moss doing just that and then getting up into this route for a great job. Now, this is another scenario. DB's here. His base is a little bit wide, right? But Randy Moss kind of closes the gap with him, and now this DB tries to be physical with him. The knock on Randy Moss used to be, oh, well, he can't play against a physical DB, right? So this DB tries to get physical. Now, he lunges at him. Look at his base. He doesn't have his base. His base is lost. He's off balance. So what's Randy Moss going to do? He has a strong base. He is in a low pad level position. And all he has to do is get these hands off of him. Randy Moss is a big guy. So if you're physical receivers, we got to be physical right back to this DBs. You're either the hammer or the nail, right? So you're not going to let this DB just bully you around. We got to get him off of us. We got to shove him off. It's a great job being physical by Randy Moss. Okay, so let's watch this release full speed, and then we'll break it down. So he's coming off. Have a plan for those hands. Let's get upfield. Again, how to beat a physical DB. We got to have our hand technique, right? The next clip we're going to break down, too, is another example of that. So he's coming off here. A little bit of a split release, right? Gets this DB lunging, engages with him, engages the contact. He knows his hands are coming, right? Now, his base is wide. It's going to be hard for him to react out of there. So what Randy Moss does a good job of, point of control, right? We talked about this. Attacking the back of his shoulder with this off arm, coming over. He gets his hands off of him, and now he's got all the separation he needs. When you don't have hands on a guy this fast, this explosive, you're not going to be able to recover as well as you would as a slower receiver, obviously, right? And Randy Moss knows that. So if he can get his hands off him at the line of scrimmage and get this much separation, it's going to be that much easier to catch this ball over the top. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So he's coming off here. So split, get his hands off, accelerate up, snap that head around, catch this ball. That's a great job by Randy Moss. Now he's going to be running a slant here, and same thing, he's going to be working a little bit of a split release. So he comes off, split release here. Now, what does it do? Gets this DB on his heels a little bit. His pad level could be a little bit better, but I think the DB is all right. What Randy Moss does a good job of is he realizes that he's got to take an inside release, so all he has to do is beat this left arm, right? So what does he do? He just comes back and chops with this off arm, attacking the back of his arm, the back of his elbow. That's a point of control, getting those hands off. This hand right here, this recovery hand, is not going to do anything because Randy Moss is already accelerating up into this slant. You just got to beat that off arm. That's a great job by Randy Moss, understanding that on this kind of release, a split release here, not too worried about this release, but if you get hands off of you against a physical DB, you're going to get some separation. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So coming off here, split, get those hands off. Let's get up into this route. Let's get up into this slant. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. Please leave in the comments anybody you would like to see me break down next and any questions you might have. I would really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time.